Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Madam Secretary, for being here. Greetings from Kansas.
Thank you.
I wanted to visit with you about the President's health care law and the costs associated with it. The American taxpayer, it's been estimated, will be billed nearly $2 trillion over the budget window, and the costs continue to mount. A Government Accountability Office GAO report issued last year says that the law will increase the federal deficit $6.2 trillion in the long run. The cost of this law seems to be rising every time we turn around. In the budget proposal that you're here to discuss with us today, the President's requesting another nearly $2 trillion for the health care exchanges. And after all the broken promises, like if you like what you have, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. Premiums will go down by $2,500. I'm wondering if you can tell us all today what happened to the President's promise. And I'll quote him. He says, "I will not sign a plan that adds one dime to our deficits, either now or in the future." This is what he told us in a joint session of Congress in September of 2009. "I will not sign it. It adds one dime to the deficit now or in the future, period." So given that the President's budget that you're here to defend today never ever balances, can't ever point to a time in this nation's future that you will stop spending more money than we take in, I'm just wondering how you can explain his promise to us, first off.
Well, Congresswoman, greetings back to Kansas. And the Congressional Budget Office, which I think you all rely on for scoring various pieces of legislation, when the Affordable Care Act was passed, said that the passage of the act would save about $100 billion in the first 10 years, and then closer to $1.1 trillion in the second decade. They updated that score and made it even more generous when cost trends began coming down. That is what the Congressional Budget Office said. They have scored that again. Every time there's a vote on repeal and questions are asked, they continue to say repealing the Affordable Care Act would actually add to the deficit, not that it would subtract from the deficit. So that, I think, is exactly what the President was talking about when he said he wouldn't sign a bill. Unlike the Medicare Part D, which was paid for on some credit card and added enormously to the deficit and still was never paid for, the Affordable Care Act was fully paid for within the scope of the law and was scored as subtracting from the deficit.
It's not fully paid for. How can you explain, and now that you have the data that indicates this will add over $6 trillion for national debt, what have you proposed that's going to bring that into line?
I have to tell you, Congresswoman, I'd be happy to try and answer that. I have no idea what the $6 trillion to the national debt is based on, so I'd love to.
But you do know what the Government Accountability Office is, and are you questioning their...
I've never seen the study that you're talking about. Yes, I do know what the Government Accountability Office is. Thank you, but I'll be happy to look up the study. I'm not aware of that. I do know the scoring on the Affordable Care Act by the Congressional Budget Office, and it continues to be updated, and I'd be happy to provide that to you.